In life, there comes a moment, a quiet yet thunderous moment, when the realization hits you with the weight of purpose. No one is coming to rescue you. Not your friends, not your family, not your mentor, not even the ones you believe owe you something. That moment isn't a punishment, it's a revelation. It's the point when you stop looking outward and begin to turn your gaze inward. It is the moment when you step into the truth that greatness was never meant to be handed to you. It was always meant to be discovered within you. The message is simple yet unshakable. Do it yourself. You were never designed to be dependent. You were born with everything you need, crafted by the Creator with intention and destiny embedded into your very DNA. Yet, so many live beneath their potential, waiting for someone else to validate their dreams, fund their ideas, or make a way for them. But the truth is, the only way forward is the way you carve out for yourself. Every step of success demands self-discipline, responsibility, and an unbreakable resolve. Life respects those who take initiative. It honors those who refuse to be paralyzed by rejection or immobilized by disappointment. When people turn their backs, when support disappears, when applause fades, that's when your real self emerges. You don't need someone to lift you. You need the courage to rise on your own, because the world doesn't give crowns to beggars. It offers them to warriors, those who fight through the silence, who stand alone and still press forward. Doing it yourself doesn't mean arrogance. It means responsibility. It means acknowledging that no one owes you success. It means stepping out of the comfort of blame and walking into the power of ownership. You can cry, yes. You can feel hurt, betrayed, or even forgotten. But don't stay there. Get up, build, learn, stretch, grow. Start from scratch if you must, but start. What you're carrying inside you is too valuable to be buried beneath self-pity or procrastination. There is something divine about those who rise without help. They carry an authority born from the furnace of independence. They speak differently. They walk with a confidence that no applause can manufacture, because their strength wasn't borrowed, it was earned. When you've lifted yourself out of the pit, when you've created with your own hands, when you've stood tall without a shoulder to lean on, you become unstoppable. This speech is not for the faint of heart. It's not for those looking for sympathy. It is for those who are ready to move from excuses to execution. It is a wake-up call for every soul that has waited long enough. No one is coming, and that's okay, because you are here, and that's enough. The time to rise is now. The tools are within you. The dream is calling. The world is watching. Do it yourself. No one is coming to help you. You are responsible for your own success. Embrace independence and self-reliance. Turn pain into power and progress. Take initiative and act now. There is a moment in every person's life when they are forced to confront the silence. It is not the absence of noise, but the absence of movement around you. No helping hand, no cheerleading voice, no open doors, no financial support, no emotional cushion. It is the hour when expectations crash into reality and you're left staring at the raw truth. No one is coming to help you. That moment is not meant to discourage you. It is designed to awaken you, because hidden within that uncomfortable truth is the seed of your true power. Many people go through life expecting assistance to arrive like a rescue boat on the stormy waters of hardship. They believe someone, parents, friends, government, boss, spouse, or mentor should step in when things get hard. They live with the belief that help is owed to them. That belief, although emotionally comforting, is one of the greatest enemies of potential. It weakens the will, delays purpose, and makes you passive in a world that demands boldness. Waiting for help becomes a form of quiet resignation, and resignation is the grave where dreams are buried. We were not created to be carried through life. Every human being was designed with the intrinsic capacity to rise, to solve, to lead, to overcome. It is embedded in your DNA. The problem is not that help is unavailable. The problem is that you have forgotten you are your first line of defense. Yes, others may help. Yes, doors may open. Yes, encouragement may come. But if you build your future on the assumption that someone else must play their part first before you play yours, you have surrendered your power. You have put your destiny in someone else's hands. That's not faith. That's paralysis disguised as hope. People don't realize that the greatest breakthroughs often begin at the moment when all support disappears. History is filled with people who changed the world not because they had resources, but because they had resolve. They didn't have a crowd behind them, they had a vision in front of them. They didn't wait for approval, they moved with conviction. When you accept that no one is coming, something extraordinary happens. You stop asking for permission and start taking responsibility. There is a unique kind of clarity that comes with solitude. When you're alone with your struggles, your failures, your questions, and your fears, your true self starts speaking. That voice, often drowned out by external noise, begins to rise. It reminds you that you are capable, resilient, intelligent, and equipped. But you'll never hear that voice until you stop depending on others to tell you who you are or what you can do. Sometimes life isolates you on purpose, not to punish you, but to train you. When you feel like no one is supporting you, no one is listening, no one is showing up, that is often the beginning of your real preparation. Mountains are not climbed with crowds. They are climbed by individuals who learn to carry their own weight. You become strong not by being lifted, but by learning how to stand. Consider the eagle. When it is time for the eaglet to fly, the mother stirs the nest. She removes the softness, the comfort, the safety. She forces the eaglet to the edge. Why? Because she knows that if the eaglet stays in the nest too long, it will never discover its wings. Likewise, many people are trapped in emotional nests, waiting for someone to feed them, support them, believe in them, validate them. But the nest is not your destiny. You were born to fly. The edge of discomfort is not your enemy. It's your launch pad. There is something noble about self-reliance, not the arrogant type that rejects others, but the disciplined kind that takes initiative, owns responsibility, and chooses progress even in the face of loneliness. When you stop expecting someone to come fix your life, you begin to fix it yourself. And in doing so, you develop a deeper sense of self-worth, because nothing makes you more confident than knowing that you made it not because someone saved you, but because you refuse to quit. Many people mistake sympathy for strength. They seek pity instead of power. They want others to feel sorry for them more than they want to become free. But pity will never change your situation. Tears may cleanse the soul, but only action will change your reality. Sooner or later, you must wipe your own face, stand up straight, and tell yourself, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen through me. Do not be surprised when those closest to you fail to show up in your hardest hour. It doesn't always mean they don't care. Sometimes it means your journey requires solitude. There are victories meant only for you. There are strengths that can only be forged in isolation. There are gifts in you that only pressure can reveal. If everyone helped you at every step, you would never discover the power of persistence. You would never taste the sweetness of victory earned. Even in faith, the principle remains: God does not reward dependency on people. He rewards obedience to vision. Vision is the ability to see beyond your current reality. It is the internal photograph of your future that refuses to fade, even when help doesn't come. The most successful people were those who chose to act on vision, even when resources were lacking, support was absent, and encouragement was scarce. Think of a young man with an idea to build a business. He shares it with family, friends, and colleagues. They nod, smile, maybe even wish him well, but no one invests. No one offers help. He has a choice. He can sulk, curse the world, blame the system, or he can get up the next morning, sketch the plan again, learn what he needs to learn, work late into the night, save every dollar, and build it one brick at a time. That choice between complaint and construction defines destiny. Help is a blessing, but it is not a requirement. Faith, vision, discipline, and action, these are the tools that create transformation. You don't need everything to be perfect to begin. You just need to begin. Start with what you have, where you are. Use your mind. Use your creativity. Use your voice. Use your hands. Use your pain. Use your disappointment. Let every unanswered call, every rejected application, every ignored message become fuel. Let every no push you deeper into your yes. Let the silence around you awaken the sound within you. And as you walk this road, you'll discover a surprising truth. Those who succeed without help become help for others. They lead from a place of authenticity, not theory. They become beacons, not because they were carried, but because they carried themselves. They inspire not because life was easy, but because they made it through the hard things and came out with wisdom. So if you find yourself today in a place where no one seems to be answering your call, where no one is offering you a break, where you're fighting alone, take heart. That is the exact place where many of the greatest stories begin. You are not a victim. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are standing in the gym of life, where strength is forged, where greatness is trained, where leaders are born. Success is not an accident. It does not fall from the sky, nor is it handed out like charity. It is not a gift waiting to be discovered under the tree of life. It is a harvest that must be cultivated, often in silence, often in struggle. The most powerful realization you will ever embrace is this: you are responsible for your own success, no one else. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your boss, not your government, not fate, not luck, and certainly not time. You and only you are accountable for what becomes of your potential. This truth is liberating for some and terrifying for others. Those who want to be free will see it as their empowerment. Those who crave dependency will see it as an accusation. But it is not judgment, it is reality. Success begins the moment you stop pointing fingers and start taking ownership. It begins when the word they disappears from your vocabulary and you start using the word I. Not they didn't support me, but I didn't plan properly. Not they rejected me, but I will try again. Not they failed me, but I must rise regardless. The path to greatness is paved with responsibility. The moment you decide to stop waiting, stop complaining, stop blaming, and start building, everything shifts. You gain clarity. You gain power. You begin to walk differently, think differently, speak differently. You stop making excuses and start making moves because you understand deeply, profoundly, that your life is the sum total of your choices, your efforts, your discipline, and your decisions. People often pray for success, but prayer without responsibility is emptiness. You can fast, cry, shout, or even beg, but if you do not take personal ownership over your direction, your gifts, and your actions, nothing changes. Heaven does not reward passivity, it responds to intentional movement. God gave you the raw material, but He will not build the structure for you. He put the seeds in your hand, but He won't plant the tree. That's your job. Your breakthrough is buried inside your own obedience, your own consistency, your own faithfulness to what you've been given. Look around you. There are people less talented than you living the life you dream of. Not because they are better, but because they took responsibility for their calling. They worked when others rested. They sacrificed when others partied. They focused when others drifted. They didn't blame the world for their circumstances. They studied it, mastered it, and made their move. They didn't wait for motivation. They moved through discipline. That's the difference. Success doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you're willing to do despite how you feel. Every time you shift responsibility onto someone else, you surrender your power. You make your future dependent on something you cannot control. That is a dangerous place to live. If your success depends on a lucky break, a rich investor, or the approval of others, then your destiny is always at risk. But when you take responsibility, when you say, if it's to be, it's up to me, you begin to walk with authority. You take back control. You reclaim your ability to change your life with every decision you make. There will be pain. That's part of it. Responsibility does not mean the journey is easy. It means you stop pretending that someone else should carry your weight. No one can take your steps for you. No one can train your body, read your books, write your vision, or pray your prayers. You must choose to do what is required, even when it is difficult, even when it is lonely, even when it is thankless, because your future is the fruit of your faithfulness. It is the consequence of your commitment. You are responsible for developing your mind, for feeding it, challenging it, disciplining it. No one can give you a sharp mind. You must sharpen it yourself through study, through practice, through focus. You are responsible for your emotional health, for healing from the past, forgiving those who hurt you, and choosing peace over bitterness. You are responsible for your spiritual life, for cultivating a relationship with God, for living with integrity, for aligning your actions with your values. You are responsible for your finances, for what you earn, how you spend, what you invest, what you save. Everything in your life is a reflection of what you've accepted, tolerated, ignored, or nurtured. Even your failures belong to you. That's the beauty of responsibility. You no longer run from your mistakes, you learn from them. You own them, and by owning them you grow stronger. There is no shame in failure. The shame is in blaming others for your failure. When you take responsibility, failure becomes a lesson, not a label. It becomes a stepping stone, not a sentence. And every lesson you learn brings you one step closer to the version of you that was hidden beneath fear and excuses. The world will always offer you a scapegoat. It will always give you something to blame. The economy, the politics, the neighborhood you came from, the school you didn't attend. the person who didn't believe in you. But the moment you accept those as the final word, you declare yourself powerless. And once you believe you are powerless, you stop trying. And when you stop trying, life starts to bury your dreams under layers of inaction. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can rise from anywhere. You can begin with nothing. You can come from poverty, pain, abuse, trauma, neglect, and still be the architect of a glorious future. History is filled with people who had every excuse to fail but chose instead to be responsible for their destiny. They refused to be defined by their background. They refused to let someone else write the story of their life. They picked up the pen and said, "I will write my future." Responsibility is not a burden, it's a blessing. It means the power is in your hands. It means you're not waiting for someone to choose you, you've already chosen yourself. It means you're not hoping the right door opens, you're learning how to build your own door. And when you truly take responsibility, you start seeing life differently. Problems become puzzles. Obstacles become opportunities. Delays become preparation. You start seeing potential in everything because you're not waiting anymore. You're moving. Success is not an event. It's not a finish line you suddenly arrive at. It is a lifestyle, a daily decision, a commitment to be better, to do more, to give more, to grow deeper. It is waking up every morning and choosing to lead your life, not be led by it. It is realizing that where you are today is not where you have to stay, but moving forward is up to you. And yes, people may help. Some will encourage you. Some may offer guidance, wisdom, or even resources. That is a blessing, but they are not responsible for what you do with that help. Two people can receive the same opportunity. One will waste it, and the other will multiply it. The difference is responsibility. It's not about what you are given, it's about what you do with what you're given. If you have breath in your lungs, you have power in your hands. If you have time, you have a weapon. If you have failure behind you, you have education. If you have pain, you have fuel. If you have hope, you have vision. Don't let any of it go to waste. You are responsible for using every piece of your experience as a building block. Your life is your message. Your actions are your voice. And the world is watching to see not how you started, but how you finish. Take responsibility. Take it today. Not because anyone is forcing you to, but because it is the only path to freedom. It is the only way you will ever taste the fullness of your potential. The only way you will ever know what you were truly made of. There is a sacred strength that lives inside every human being. A strength that is not always loud or visible, but is undeniable in its power. It is the quiet force of independence, the grounded courage of self-reliance. It is the unwavering belief that you were not created to depend on others for your significance, your survival, or your success. While the world teaches you to chase validation, applause, and agreement, true purpose calls you to something higher, to embrace your own mind, to trust your own heart, and to walk your path whether or not anyone else walks with you. From the moment you take your first breath, the process of growth is about separation. You are born from the comfort of your mother's womb into a world that demands you learn to breathe on your own, feed on your own, walk on your own. Life has always been teaching you that independence is the ultimate goal of maturity. A child depends on others, but an adult must learn to think, choose, and live with responsibility. When you avoid independence, you avoid your own growth. And when you refuse to develop self-reliance, you surrender the ability to lead yourself. Too many people wait for someone to give them permission to live fully. They won't move unless they are reassured. They won't speak unless they are validated. They won't dream unless someone says, "I believe in you." But greatness never waits for consensus. Purpose does not ask for a vote. Destiny is not a democracy. If you want to live out the fullness of who you are, you must be willing to believe in yourself even when no one else does. You must be willing to make decisions even when others question you. You must be able to walk away from voices that silence you and systems that limit you. Because the truth is, there will be times when standing alone is the only way to stand at all. Independence is not isolation. It is not pride. It is not arrogance. It is clarity. It is confidence. It is conviction. It is the willingness to take full ownership of your life without waiting for others to carry your load. It is learning to draw from the well of your own spirit instead of begging for water from others who are just as thirsty. It is waking up in the morning and saying, "I will not wait for the world to hand me strength. I will build it myself." Independence is knowing that your identity is not tied to your connections, your associations, or your audience. It is rooted in your Creator, expressed through your character, and sustained by your commitment. The most dangerous place to live is in the illusion that someone else will always come through for you, that someone will always protect you, provide for you, fix things for you. Because one day life will test that illusion. People will fail, systems will break, resources will dry up, and if your foundation is built on others, you will collapse. But if your identity is anchored in your own capacity to endure, adapt, and overcome, then you will rise every single time. Learning to be self-reliant is not an event, it is a process. It begins with a shift in your thinking. You stop saying, "Who will help me?" And you start asking, "What can I do?" You stop looking for someone to blame and start searching for a strategy. You stop complaining about what you lack and start building with what you have. Because the power to change your life has never been outside of you. It has always been within you, buried under fear, shame, doubt, and comparison. But it is there, waiting to be activated by your choice to stop leaning and start leading. Some of the most profound turning points in your life will come when you're forced to figure things out on your own. When the people you expected to help are silent, when the doors you thought would open remain shut, when the opportunities you hoped for never materialize. It is in those moments that self-reliance is born. It doesn't always begin as confidence. Sometimes it begins as survival. But survival breeds strength, and strength, when harnessed with wisdom and discipline, becomes independence. You must learn to listen to your own voice. In a world that constantly screams at you to follow trends, follow people, follow popularity, you must dare to follow your spirit. No one knows your purpose like you do. No one sees your vision the way you do. If you spend your life trying to gain approval, you will lose yourself. But if you anchor yourself in truth, your truth, you will find a courage that cannot be shaken. Self-reliance begins the day you stop outsourcing your clarity. There is something powerful about being able to sustain yourself. It builds quiet confidence. It teaches you to trust your instincts. It teaches you discipline. It forces you to confront your weaknesses and take responsibility for your growth. When you are independent, you no longer wait for someone to solve your problems. You become the problem solver. You become the one others look to. You become the one who sets the pace, not the one who waits for others to move. But self-reliance is not just about success, it's about freedom. You are free when you no longer need anyone to complete you. You are free when you no longer need applause to feel valuable. You are free when you can face the day alone and still move forward with purpose. Most people are not free. They are trapped by the need to be accepted, the need to be liked, the need to fit in. But freedom does not require agreement. It requires integrity. When your actions are aligned with your inner values, when your choices are born out of conviction, when your life is led from within, you are truly free. The irony is that when you become truly self-reliant, you actually become more valuable to others. You don't drain people, you inspire them. You don't depend on their strength, you bring strength. You don't need them to lead, you lead yourself, and in doing so, you lead others. Independent people create space for others to grow. They model what is possible. They challenge the atmosphere. They shift the energy in every room they walk into, not because they are loud, but because they are rooted. They don't chase influence, they carry it. But understand this, self-reliance is not born in comfort. It is forged in pressure. You become independent when you stop being afraid of failure, when you stop fearing rejection, when you stop needing everything to be perfect before you act. Independence is not a gift. It is earned through trial, through tears, through resistance, through practice. It grows with every decision you make to move forward, even when you feel unprepared. With every day you choose discipline over distraction. With every time you say no to what's easy and yes to what's right. You may feel alone on the path of independence, but you are never truly alone, because inside of you lives a divine spark, a seed of greatness, a blueprint of purpose, a compass that always knows the way home. That seed needs pressure to grow. It needs silence. It needs the space that only independence can create. If you keep filling your life with noise, people's opinions, society's expectations, distractions, fears, you will never hear the voice that matters most, the one inside you. You were not born to be needy. You were born to be whole, not perfect, but complete. You were born to contribute, not just to consume, to lead, not just to follow, to rise, not just to survive. Everything you need to do that has already been placed inside you. but it will not activate until you choose to stand on your own feet. You must look in the mirror and say, I will no longer make excuses. I will no longer wait to be rescued. I will no longer play small. I will rise with what I have, and I will build something worthy of who I am. Let the journey begin, not because someone gave you the green light, but because you lit the fire inside yourself. Don't wait to be invited. Don't wait to be discovered. Don't wait to be supported. Move with your own strength. Speak with your own voice. Lead with your own light. Embrace independence not as a last resort, but as your birthright. Embrace self-reliance, not because you have to, but because you are capable of more than you've ever imagined. And when you do, you will not just succeed, you will soar. There comes a time in every life when waiting becomes a prison. A silent, comfortable prison that looks like hope but functions like delay. You wait thinking help is coming. You wait hoping someone will see your potential. You wait for a mentor to take you under their wing, for a door to open, for someone to call your name. You wait for someone to notice, to rescue you from your struggle, to carry you to your future. But the longer you wait, the heavier the chains become. Waiting at some point ceases to be patience and becomes permission for stagnation. The truth that sets you free is this: no one is coming. You are the rescuer you've been waiting for. That sounds harsh to someone addicted to external validation, but it is a truth filled with power if you're ready to receive it. Because the moment you stop expecting someone else to deliver you from your present situation, you activate the force that has been dormant within you all along: your own authority, your own dominion, your own courage to move, act, create, and become. We live in a world filled with noise and distraction, and it is easy to believe the illusion that your answer lies outside of yourself, that a better job will fix it, that a bigger opportunity will fix it, that if someone just sees your talent, your life will change. But external shifts without internal awakening are meaningless. Even if someone gave you what you wanted, you would not be ready to sustain it if your mindset still believes you are powerless. The rescue is not the arrival of someone else. The rescue is the awakening of who you already are. You were not created to be a dependent being. Dependency may be necessary in childhood, but it becomes destructive in adulthood. When you wait for rescue, you transfer your power to another person or system that was never meant to carry your destiny. And when they fail to show up, and they often will, you are left feeling betrayed by the very illusion you created. Rescue is not delayed. It was never promised. What is promised is the capacity inside you to rise, to think, to plan, to move, to initiate. You have to stop imagining that someone will come along to clear the path for you. No one clears the path. They walk their own. You were given vision not so others would walk it for you, but so you would have the courage to make it real. And vision by its nature is lonely. It is yours. No one else sees what you see. No one else feels what you feel. No one else carries what you carry. You have to stop looking for sympathy and start cultivating strength. You have to stop asking who will come and start asking, what can I build with what I already have? The moment you stop waiting for someone to choose you, you choose yourself. That is not pride, it is purpose. That is not arrogance, it is awareness. If you keep your eyes fixed on who left you, who ignored you, who didn't believe in you, you will never see the tools already in your hands. You are not empty. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are simply distracted by what hasn't happened. But there is something in you that is more powerful than rejection. Resolve. Resolve says, I will not wait to be carried. I will walk with what I have. Too many people sit at the edge of their calling like passengers at a train station, hoping the right train will arrive. They miss the truth that they are not passengers, they are the train. They don't ride to destiny, they drive there. They create momentum through small, faithful, uncelebrated steps. While others wait for a miracle, they become the miracle. While others wait to be led, they rise to lead themselves. While others search for signs, they become the evidence that movement changes everything. You were never meant to be a beggar in your own life. Waiting for someone to give you a chance is a weak foundation for a powerful future. What if no one ever gives you a chance? Will you sit in silence forever? What if the call never comes? What if the open door never opens? If your future is tied to someone else's invitation, then you will always be waiting. But if you decide right now that you are the invitation, then the delay ends. The moment you understand that you are the answer to your own prayers, the atmosphere of your life begins to shift. You must stop waiting for the perfect moment because it doesn't exist. There will always be a reason not to start. There will always be more research you could do, more skills you could acquire, more support you could gather. But waiting for perfection is just fear dressed up in wisdom. It is not noble, it is paralyzing. You don't need all the answers, you need to move. Progress doesn't come from clarity alone, it comes from obedience. When you act, clarity follows, but the rescue is in your movement, not in your meditation. Even spiritually, many people are waiting for a divine intervention that has already been placed inside them as divine instruction. The instructions have been given, the gifts have been planted, the vision has been revealed. Now it's time to build. Prayer is powerful, but it must be partnered with execution. Faith without works is not only dead, it is denial. It is denial of the truth that you have the capacity to move forward right now. It's time to stop waiting for someone to see your worth. Know your worth. When you know it, you don't beg for attention. You command it through your actions. You don't manipulate people into seeing your value. You demonstrate it through what you produce, how you speak, how you show up. If you're constantly trying to convince people of your importance, it's a sign that you've not fully owned it yourself. The loudest rescue you can make is the silent shift from proving to producing. This life does not reward those who wait quietly in line. It rewards those who step forward in faith. It rewards those who create where nothing existed, those who launch when there's no fanfare, those who believe in themselves even when no one claps. The rescue is in your decision to stop treating your future as optional. It is not optional. Your life matters too much to spend another year in hesitation. You are not fragile. You are not forgotten. You are not unfinished. You are full of potential, but potential unused becomes pain. And yes, it's going to be difficult. Everything worthwhile is. You will question yourself. You will feel unqualified. You will face setbacks. But the moment you understand that struggle is not a sign to stop, it is a sign that you're alive. You will welcome the discomfort. The struggle is part of your strength. No one becomes who they are supposed to be by avoiding resistance. You are not built to be rescued from it. You are built to overcome it. Take an honest look at your life. What are you waiting for? Who are you waiting on? What are you delaying because you think you're not ready? If the answer is someone else's approval or permission, then it's time to rewrite the script, because your future does not depend on anyone else doing anything. It depends on you deciding that you will no longer hand over your power to people who cannot carry your promise, deciding that you will act now, not when it's easier, not when it's safer, but now. Rescue yourself from the excuses. Rescue yourself from the comfort of waiting. Rescue yourself from the opinions of people who have no idea what you carry inside. Rescue yourself from the lie that you're not enough. Rescue yourself from the fear that you'll fail, because failure is not final unless you quit. Rescue yourself from the trap of needing help to begin. Help may come, but help cannot be your plan. You are your plan. You are the idea. You are the seed. You are the breakthrough. You are the strategy. You are the movement. You are the sign you've been waiting for. When you stop waiting for rescue, you start operating from a higher law, a law that says what you build will stand. Because it is not built on external support. It is built on internal conviction. And nothing is stronger than a soul on fire. So move, create, speak, write, build, launch, begin, rescue yourself. Because the world needs what you carry, and no one can deliver it but you. There is a war taking place inside every individual, a quiet war that determines the difference between those who rise with purpose and those who remain stuck in cycles of weakness. This war is between the urge to depend and the commitment to discipline. While the world around you teaches you to lean, to wait, to look for shortcuts, something deeper inside you calls you to build, to train, to become. The truth is, no one arrives at greatness by accident. No one fulfills their destiny through convenience. Purpose is not powered by passion alone. It is built through the daily labor of discipline. Discipline is not attractive. It does not draw applause. It does not post well on social media. It happens in private, early mornings, late nights, quiet sacrifices, repeated decisions. Dependency is always easier in the moment. It feels safer to expect someone else to remind you, to motivate you, to correct you, to catch your fall. But every time you choose dependence over discipline, you trade long-term freedom for short-term comfort. You give up your authority for a crutch that was never meant to hold you. People often mistake discipline for punishment. They think it's harsh, restrictive, even oppressive. But discipline is not your enemy. It is your ally. It is not a cage, it is a ladder. Every disciplined choice you make is a step upward, a piece of the structure that leads you to your highest self. Dependency may feel like relief, but it keeps you small. Discipline feels like resistance, but it makes you strong. Dependency waits. Discipline moves. Discipline begins without asking. You cannot build a life of power with a mindset of dependence. When you always need someone to tell you what to do, when to move, how to think, you surrender the power to own your decisions. But when you embrace discipline, you reclaim your ability to govern yourself. You become a steward of your time, your words, your emotions, your energy. Discipline gives you mastery over what others allow to master them. It turns chaos into clarity. It transforms potential into performance. There are no great accomplishments without great discipline. Talent is common. Inspiration is fleeting. But the person who wins is the one who shows up every day, regardless of mood or motivation. The one who does not wait to feel ready, but trains readiness into their body and soul through repetition. Discipline is not what you do once. It is what you become through what you do consistently. It is not a single decision. It is a lifestyle, a rhythm, a covenant between you and your future. You must decide what you are building. If you are building a legacy, you cannot afford to live by emotion. You cannot afford to allow distraction, comfort, or fear to lead your days. A life built on dependency is always at the mercy of what others can give. A life built on discipline is fueled by what you've already decided. When you make discipline your default, you no longer need permission to act. You act because it is who you are. Look at the structure of your days. How do you spend your time? What do you prioritize? What do you postpone? Who do you depend on to do what you should already own? These questions are not meant to condemn, they are meant to awaken. Because every pattern you accept is forming the framework of your life. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about alignment. Alignment between your actions and your assignment, between what you say you want and how you live. The lie of dependency is that it looks like love. It looks like support. It disguises itself as care. But when someone else always carries your responsibility, it doesn't empower you, it weakens you. It builds a habit of helplessness. And slowly you forget that you were created with the strength to carry your own load. Dependency becomes a drug, soothing, easy, addictive. But discipline is the antidote. It weans you from excuses. It detoxes you from blame. It breaks the habit of needing and builds the habit of leading. The greatest gift you can give yourself is discipline. Not because you enjoy every moment of it, but because you know who you are becoming through it. You become stable. You become grounded. You become consistent. And consistency produces results that talent and inspiration never could. Anyone can have a good day. Discipline gives you good months, good years, a good life. It compounds, it multiplies, it blesses everything it touches. If you want to lead others, start by leading yourself. The undisciplined have no business giving direction. If your words are not matched by your habits, your influence is shallow. You cannot ask others to follow what you refuse to model. And the most powerful form of leadership is example. A disciplined life speaks louder than any sermon. It commands respect. It trains excellence. It sets a standard. People follow what you consistently do, not what you occasionally say. Discipline is also the proof of your seriousness. Many say they want change, they want growth, they want success, but want without discipline is just a wish, and wishes don't work. Work works. Wanting is easy. Working is rare. Wanting feels good. Working feels hard. But the hard things are what develop the strength required to handle the great things. If you run from discipline, you are running from destiny. You will never feel like it every day. You will not always be inspired. You will not always be applauded. But discipline does not depend on feeling. It depends on decision. You must decide that your goals matter more than your comfort, that your future matters more than your feelings, that your calling is worth more than your cravings. And every time you choose what's right over what's easy, you build that discipline deeper into your identity. You won't see the results right away. Discipline is quiet. It works in the dark. But over time it transforms everything it touches. Your mind becomes sharper. Your focus becomes stronger. Your energy becomes clearer. You start doing things others admire but few are willing to replicate. Because what most want, only the disciplined earn. Dependency may get you through the day, but only discipline will take you through the years. Dependency leans. Discipline leads. Dependency waits. Discipline initiates, dependency hopes, discipline acts. The choice is yours every day. Every morning you rise, every evening you reflect. Will you be led by comfort or by commitment? Will you live by default or by design? Discipline is also your defense. In a world of noise and temptation, discipline keeps you anchored. It protects your priorities. It filters your choices. It guards your energy. Without it, you are vulnerable to every distraction, every trend, every emotion. But with it, you are clear. You are focused. You are immovable. There will be moments when quitting looks easier, when sleep looks better than work, when scrolling feels better than building. But remember this, every act of discipline is an investment. And the more you invest, the greater your return. Not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, relationally. Discipline spills over into every part of your life. It makes you a better thinker, a better communicator, a better friend, a better leader. Discipline also reveals what truly matters to you. If you say you value something but never make time for it, the truth is exposed. Discipline removes the mask. It shows you what your life is actually built on, not just what you claim. But this exposure is not punishment, it's opportunity. It's your moment to align again, to recommit, to rebuild. It's never too late to begin a life of discipline. You start where you are. You start with what you have. But you start. And when you start, everything begins to change. The enemy of your purpose is not lack of potential. It is lack of discipline. Because potential without discipline produces nothing but regret. And regret is the echo of the chances you never took seriously. But you don't have to live in regret. You can live in rhythm, in focus, in intention. The life you want is not waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for your mastery. Discipline is not glamorous. It does not shout, but it stands. It shows up. It endures. And in a world filled with quitters, your discipline will distinguish you. Your excellence will separate you. Your consistency will elevate you. And your self-governance will lead others toward their own awakening. You don't need to depend on others to stay focused. You don't need to depend on motivation to act. You don't need to depend on emotions to commit. You need only to decide once and then daily. Because every day you live is a vote for the future you are creating. Let your habits cast the right vote. Build discipline, and you will no longer need to depend on temporary things. Build discipline, and you will walk in authority. Build discipline, and you will become the person your vision has been waiting for. The time for excuses has ended. The time for waiting is over. The time for discipline is now.